it's the Imperfect Gardener, and I have all of my indoor seedlings that I started from seed, and I have been thinking I need to get them outside some to get acclimated to the weather outdoors. Look at these pepper plants. I'm going to pull one out. This actually has two in one pot, but still, even with two in one pot, these are gorgeous. They've grown really big, and lots of leaves coming off them. They just look so healthy. I've been really excited about it. But I realized, especially for the peppers, I really do want to get them used to being outdoors before I stick them in the ground and shock them to death, because they do like it hot, and we have had a very, very cold spring this year in Michigan. Even just from them being out here today, you can see the wind's blowing from this direction. It's kind of blowing them over, and they're not used to that wind. So that's giving them a little bit of trouble on this end, but they seem all right. They've gotten really, really tall for indoors and for, the lighting system that I have. I needed to get my tomatoes, keep them under the light, so I've been kind of moving things in and out. But look at this surprise I have today. Will you look at that? Oh my goodness gracious. Isn't that a flower? Let's pull it out. Oh, I'm so excited. Will you look at that? This pepper plant is flowering. And this is a mixed peppers. They're green and red, the bell peppers. But there's a flower on my pepper plant. I'm so excited. So they seem to be doing really well. And, well, they're definitely doing really well. Look at them. They're gorgeous. But what I'm doing today in the next couple of days is just setting some of these trays outside. Here's some of the tomatoes over here. These are actually ones that weren't doing really, really well. But because inside of these little pots that I had them in, some of these smaller pots, I felt like there was mold that started growing. It made me nervous. So any that looked like they had some mold on the inside of the pot, I threw them into this bin to kind of separate them from everybody else in case it was a disease they were growing or something. But look, they still seem fine, and there's no disease on the tomato itself. So I think it was just some kind of mold that started growing from those little biodegradable pots. Who knows what kind of paper's on that? I don't know, but they mold easily if they get too damp. So they've actually been happy out here in the sun today. If it's stays nice, I'm gonna leave them out here a couple more hours. But in the evening, I'll be bringing in these tomato plants, these peppers tonight, and this corn, which is a whole nother story. I was trying out planting some corn indoors, see if it can work, and then transplant out in the garden. I'm thinking that maybe I started it too early. That's what I did. Tried to get a little too early because they're having trouble staying in here. I hate to transplant them into a new thing when I'm going to be putting them in the ground in a week. But those ones over there on the end, you can see some of them just dwindled off and died. I'm thinking that they got too much water. The other ones seem to be doing better than those ones. And so I'm not sure, because if you look at them, they're still wet right now. It makes me wonder if the bottom of that one is draining properly when everything else is dry and those are wet. But then again, it could also be because, they died, and so they're not soaking up water. So anyway, but we're still going to try this corn. We're going to try to keep it going. So I've been putting it out in the sun, see if that will help it get a little more sun. And hopefully I'll be able to plant these on one side of the corn section on the south side, so that the sun will come over those and they will not shadow the new seeds that I plant for the corn. Anyway, why am I showing you this video, though? It's an update, but it's also hardening off the plants for outdoors. It is a little bit of a shock, especially this year in Michigan. It's so cold compared to other springs. We've been having 40, 50-degree weather during the day. In the time of year, we would normally have 60, 70 degrees at least at this point of the year. So I haven't been getting everything out to harden it off, and I need to do it. I want to plant into the garden. There it is. Woohoo! It's beautiful. I want to plant all my plants in there this coming weekend. So what I'm going to do is the rest of my plants that are indoors right now, I've got a lot of them on my shelves. I'm going to start pulling those out. I'm going to pull them out today. Still got a few hours of sunlight here. I'm going to pull out some of them today, but definitely tomorrow I'm going to pull them out, set them on the patio, let them get some air, let them get some sun right out here, let them get the cooler temperature a little bit more, and then get them ready so that when I put them in the ground, there won't be a complete shock. And that's what people call that hardening off your plants. I think it's just a matter of them growing accustomed to the outdoor conditions a little bit before you just stick them right into the dirt, which is colder than what they're used to. The other thing I have done, though, to help with that is that they're in here in my room, and I have quite a big sliding glass door here. And inside, excuse the messy towels on the floor, because that's where, I've been potting stuff on top of these towels and the water bottles I use to water with. But anyway, the other thing I have done to help with this process is to just have this sliding glass door open as much as I can the past week or so. That has allowed a nice breeze to blow in, and actually if I hold right still, you can see right now that the breeze is blowing these leaves on these plants that are up here under the grow light. It just helps them to have that breeze blowing in, to have it a little cooler in here, to stop thinking that their life is going to be spent in this perfect temperature room that they've been in. So I'm hoping that that's going to help also. And the big chore is there's so many of them. I've got this whole shelf, lots of them. I've got a whole shelf down here. I got a whole shelf on the bottom. And then I have over here my tomato forest, which is an entire shelf with stuff hanging all down on the bottom under the edges everywhere. There are a lot of tomato plants over here, and basically some of them aren't even on trays at this point because they ran out of trays and boxes and such, so I need to grab some boxes. I need to pull these out, and I'm just going to have to do the work to set them outside during the day, part of the day, over the next week, put them out for a few hours each day, and when we get a nice night that looks like it's not going to be totally frozen outside or not coming too close to freezing, I'll leave them out for a full overnight, hopefully, right before I'm going to plant them on Friday. So I'll have at least like 4 days of them sitting out in the sun somewhat to get acclimated. And this patio is actually not horribly bad because it's not in the middle of the sunshine. It's, excuse all the bags of clothes and stuff. You know what? My room has laundry and baskets. What can I say? I have a busy life. This patio is on the south side of the house, so part of it is shaded most of the day. But over on that end, over here where I have these plants, it is mostly in the sun. But it's not direct sunlight completely beating on them all day. So it's kind of nice, I think, to get them started right out here on this deck. So it's not a patio, it's a deck. Hello. And boy, does it ever need to be stained. But we don't care about that because we're more worried about our garden. So anyway, that's what I know about getting your seedlings ready to plant outside. In the past, I have always bought my seedlings from a nursery. This is the first year I've done it myself, and wow, I've been amazed at the results, and I'm really excited. So you try something new this year in your garden and have fun gardening.